Hey guys, it's Peter. So I wanted to record this video for the Irish person, someone who's looking to sell on Amazon FBA and they're based in Ireland. I'm just going to run through a few topics that I think would be really beneficial for you guys, right? So a little bit of background. I've been selling on Amazon since 2016. In that time, I've sold hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of products in the UK, in Europe, in the US, in Canada, in all these different markets, right? And there is a few things that we need to think of as, someone based in Ireland when it comes to starting a business like this, right? So the first thing first, I want to give you a little background on what Amazon FBA is. Now, FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. Now, ultimately what that means is Amazon take care of all the shipping and packing of the goods. Now, this is very good because ultimately as a seller, and being based on an island, we can't realistically ship goods to consumers in larger markets in any sort of timely fashion. So that's why having Amazon do this for us is really, really good. But even if I was based, for example, in the UK, so say somewhere in England or even in Northern Ireland, if I was based there or in America or wherever, I wouldn't want to be shipping the goods myself because it's time. Like realistically, you can get your business to sell in hundreds of units per day, but let's just even talk about 10, 20, 30 units. Like you might think that's not a lot, but if you have to come and actually ship those goods out to consumers, that's 30 boxes, cartons that need to be prepped and prepared to go out to consumers. So we just want Amazon to take care of all this, right? And yes, they do charge us for that, but ultimately it's all built into our margins, right? Now, if we're doing the FBA model, what I recommend is private label, because again, any other model doesn't really work that well for the Republic of Ireland. Like if you think about wholesale, so it's buying goods off wholesalers in Ireland and then shipping them into Amazon. You got customs duties, you got VAT duties, you got all these sort of problems. And then also bearing in mind, the goods are generally more expensive in Ireland than they are in other markets because it's a smaller market. So again, we're going to really struggle to get the right margin in order to make a profit. And that's not even including, as I said, the duty and the VAT and all that when it's going back into the UK. So ultimately those other models, whilst they may work if you're based in the UK or you're based in the US or you're based in, say, Germany, they won't work very well if you're based in the Republic of Ireland. So that is why I recommend private label, because private label, it's where you take a product and you put your own barcode on it. So you design a package, so a carton or a box that contains the product, maybe a bonus item or a secondary item or maybe an improved version or whatever. It doesn't really matter. We just make a product that is ours, right? And we put our label on it. A good example, actually, I'm sitting here and just looking at this, right? This is a camera. This camera is made in the factory where Hikvision make their cameras. Hilux is another brand that they have. Same camera, different brand name. So this is what we can do. We basically put our brand on boxes of products that are generic, that are items that anyone can use, right? What's good about that means that the goods never actually arrive into Ireland. We never physically have to touch them. Once we check out the samples and we're happy with all that, we actually get the supplier to send them straight to the UK or straight to the US or straight to Germany, which means that, first of all, the goods go all around the world. It means that we don't pay Irish taxes on import or the Irish VAT rate, which is higher than a lot of other places. And it also means that, we can take advantage of Amazon Global Logistics to ship the goods from the manufacturer to these locations, which means we can be selling the same goods in all these different markets. My first product was dog whistles, and I had them shipped directly to the Amazon Fulfillment Center in the UK, to an Amazon Fulfillment Center in the US, Europe, Canada and Australia. Okay, so the supplier, the manufacturer, was actually shipping the goods out to all these different locations on my behalf, which means I didn't have to handle them. I didn't have to do anything apart from organize, pay, and just watch the goods arrive and start selling. Okay. Now, as an Irish seller, some people ask me can I sell products for the Irish market? I would always say, don't worry about the Irish market. Folks, it's so small that it's really insignificant, right? Yes, some of my products do be purchased by Irish consumers, but that's done as part of the larger UK market. I sometimes do see an Irish consumer purchase a product, but ultimately you want to be looking at the data for those markets. So how many units of the type of item I want to sell are selling in these markets, and can I get a slice of that pie? Don't be worrying about the Irish market. And also, don't be basing your product decision on what's working in Ireland. Base it on the data that Amazon gives you from the UK or the US, because these are the people that are going to be actually purchasing your product, and that is ultimately where your product is actually going to be sent. So please don't let maybe Irish buying habits influence what you may or may not sell, right? So again, we do use Amazon Global Logistics to ship the items from China to the UK, to the US, to Canada, which means that we don't physically have to do it. We don't have to organize freight forwarders and things like that. And we, as I said, the goods don't have to arrive in Ireland. So that's really, really positive for us, right? Then in terms of, once we've the goods developed and made and all that kind of thing. Actually, let me rewind, right? I'm kind of just run through a lot of things here. As an Irish seller as well, people often ask me, like, where should I base my company? Up until recently, I would have said base it in the UK. Now, I actually recommend basing your business in the Republic of Ireland, because we no longer get to take advantage of the £85,000 VAT threshold. It ultimately means you have to pay VAT to HMRC on a percentage of your sales, which is 20%. But if we register for VAT, we can also reclaim the VAT on imports. So it is swings and roundabouts. Until recently, you could have registered a UK business and taken advantage of the £85,000 VAT threshold, whereby you didn't have to register for VAT. If you're based in the UK, I'd actually recommend obviously a UK company, but based in the Republic of Ireland at this point, I'd recommend an Irish company. And then in terms of taking the money out of your business, again, I'm not a tax advisor, but what you can do is pay yourself a wage or pay yourself a dividend on your profits. But ideally, what you want to be doing is actually putting all your money back into new products, because that's what this business needs. It needs more than one product. It needs multiple products. You need to be continually feeding it and identifying new products that you can keep adding to your business, because that is what's going to help it grow. You don't want to be dependent on that one product, because when it runs out of stock or something goes wrong, your business is gone. Whereas if you have multiple products, your business will continue growing, it'll continue developing, and you'll continue making sales. Okay. Let me see now, anything else I want to think about really for an Irish perspective. I would really recommend concentrating on your research. Just as I said, looking at the market in terms of what's selling, and just figuring out, how can you stand out in the market in terms of your product. Really create really good creative, really good copy, just to make your listing, superior. When you are looking for a supplier, I would use Alibaba, which basically means that you're putting contact with manufacturers or with trading houses. Manufacturer is someone that makes the goods. A trading house is someone that actually, they deal with a manufacturer on your behalf and actually buy the goods as part of a larger order. I've dealt with both. I don't mind either or, as long as they can supply me with the goods that I want. That's the main thing. Also, what's worth bearing in mind is, I've seen this time and time again, make sure that your goods are, not patented or trademarked before you purchase them. So for example, I wouldn't be able to sell that camera more than likely, because that design is owned by that company. Again, I wouldn't be able to use the brand name because that is trademarked by that company. If you buy something that someone has a trademark or a patent on, so a patent, for example, is a design, the shape, if they report it, Amazon will take it down and you won't be able to sell those goods. So ultimately, always do your due diligence before you purchase an item, just to make sure that, it's fine for you to sell. You can use Google patents search or go to the IPO in the UK just to check these things, because that's where you're going to be selling the goods, just to make sure there's no patents on the design. Also, another thing that's worth bearing in mind is, before you order a product, always get a sample. Then that can be shipped to your home or your address in the Republic of Ireland. Get a sample to make sure everything's okay and the quality is what you expect. And one thing I actually recommend now a little bit more as well is, we can employ people in China to basically inspect the goods once they're completed, to make sure there's no problems when they're arrive at Amazon, because Amazon won't really fix problems. The goods have to be ready when they get there, right? And especially for the first order, that's really important. Concentrate on cartons as well, so to make sure the cartons are solid and that the goods won't get damaged in transit or won't break the cartons, and that they're all labeled and stuff correctly with your barcodes that you've got from GS1. Just make sure all that. Really, I'm trying to think of anything else that could just be helpful. I'm just throwing a lot of stuff at you guys because I didn't really prep much for this video. I'm just literally just throwing things at you that would be valuable. What else would you need to do? I said, yeah, concentrate on good creative, good copy, all that. Yes, the MOQ. I would aim for a low MOQ in your initial order, because remember, your first order It's just about proven viability. So to make sure that the goods are going to sell, that there's sufficient demand. So just try to get a small amount of units as possible. You know, for a really low cost item, it could be a couple hundred, but for a higher price item, it could be, 50 units, it could be 100, 150 units, whatever. I generally like to spend with the supplier only about $2,000, give or take two and a half on my first order, less if possible. Really, that means that the total order cost is going to be around £2,500 to £3,500 once arrived in the UK, in the Amazon fulfillment center. So just bear that in mind. Don't be ordering tens of thousands of pounds. That's a real gamble when you don't know some of these unknowns. Try to keep it small so you can test on a small budget or a smaller budget, and then just really go for it. I would recommend that you get someone to mentor you or follow some system, because there's a lot more to it than this, and it's just that you need to make sure you do these things right. But once you get the hang of it, once you start, it's no problem. And definitely, as I said, it's a very achievable business from the Republic of Ireland. It's something that you can do, something that you can grow, and then ultimately you can bring your laptop and do it from anywhere. There's no issue with that. So that's some of the reasons why I like the business as well. So guys, I hope that's inspiring for you, and I hope that that's giving you some insight on what you need to do. If you have any questions, please just ask me them below in the comments. If you want to work with me, go up to the bio there. There is links there on different programs I offer and different ways we can do that. And nonetheless, subscribe, like, and have a great day. And as I said, it is achievable from the Republic of Ireland, which is key. All right, talk to you soon, folks. Bye.